All right, everybody, what is going on? We're doing the Heroes Red Zone. Now, I have already beat these, but, you know, I figured I'd get the runs here on camera, at least, you know, some no-item runs. That way they're, you know, there for posterity on the channel, right? You know, everybody can take a look at these and, you know, go back and watch them from now and then. You know, it's like a time capsule. We can look at this next year and say, oh, wow, the Heroes units were good. You know, how did they age? Hopefully next year they give us some harder fights for this Heroes Red Zone. You know, last year, I don't know if you guys remember, but like Cumber was kind of like a real fight. Like you could go in there and he could kind of tear you up a little bit. But this year the fights were not very difficult. You know, hopefully you guys didn't have too much trouble with them. But yeah, no, I mean we just hop in here and curb stomp them. I'm recording this audio live. I'm making it sound like we are, like I'm doing post commentary over it or something, but no, I am live recording this, right? We're watching Vegeta do a 9.7 million. And so just depending on how long these fights go, I may combine Lags and Golden Cooler into one stage, or into like one video maybe. Because like, am I really going to put up like a 2-minute video of me just curb stomping Lags here? I mean, maybe. I don't know. Can I even find, did Kua, by the way, guys, if you don't know, for most of my thumbnails, Kua over on Twitter, he posts like the HD arts. For the most part, I get the arts from him. Like I just download it off of Twitter and then I use it to make my thumbnails. Like I have like a standard template that I use. You know, I'm sure you guys have seen it, right? Like the 200%, the rainbow star, like it's all the same at this point. It just saves me a lot of time whenever I make thumbnails. I have a couple templates for like the major fights too. That way I can just drop in the PNG, and I usually get those from Kua. Now, did he do the one for Lags? I don't know if he did this year. He might have last year. I'm gonna have to scroll back a lot. But yeah, I mean, I can show you guys this. Like right here, like I just, you know, this guy, shout out. I believe he does Gresh's thumbnails as well. Like if you look in Gresh's description, he does his thumbnails, but he's really nice. He posts like all of the, I mean, I've never like interacted with him, but I mean, you know, I mean, he's posting all of these HD arts for us to use, right? Just for free on Twitter, which is, you know, super kind and very nice for him. And it really helps out somebody like me who doesn't make enough money to, like, pay people to make thumbnails. So, you know, he has, like, all the arts here. Now, it doesn't look like he has Lags in here, but I would probably have to scroll back to, like, next year to try to find it, and then I, you know, could probably use it from there. But anyway, you know, we'll get this video up here for Lags. Again, if it's not long enough, I'll probably just slap Golden Cooler into here too, because that fight's not very long either. But, you know, we'll see. You know, these days, the 8-minute mark suddenly has a lot more meaning for me these days. You know, I haven't done an official video on it. I might sometime this week. I gotta thank you guys for getting me to 1,000 subs, because I did not think I was going to hit it in a year. I started making, like, YouTube videos just to send shorts to my friends whenever, like, Orange Piccolo came out. Because, like, we use, like, GroupMe. Listen, we're ancient. We've had that thing going since, like, high school. But we use, like, GroupMe to communicate, right? And so like there's like a file size limit on how long you can send videos, and whenever I started making YouTube videos, or like let me rephrase, whenever Orange Piccolo came out, you know, it's like I love, you know, sharing my videos with them, like, oh man, look at this crazy Orange Piccolo, you know, look at him, he just takes out Cell Max and like all by himself, it's crazy, right? Like I'm doing that, but it like I want to show like the full turn, right? Like I want to see like all 3 turns, and I just couldn't get that to be a like I couldn't get that to fit on GroupMe or whatever, so I just would upload it to YouTube, you know, do a short, and I, you know, made some, like, real titles, and, like, just Fusion Zamasu, but if you go back and look at some of my early videos, they're just, like, random stuff, like, that are just all shorts, for the most part, that I just couldn't send, like, through GroupMe, and so that's what I would do there, is just post those, to YouTube, and then I could send them a YouTube link, and then they could go watch those, right, so, anyway, but that's just a long way of saying that, like that's what I started out doing, and now here I am at 1,000 subscribers within the year. You know, I started like right whenever they came out, so like New Year's into December, whenever that was, and now here we are a year later. I mean, it really has paid off, just like posting every single day and recording all these videos, and I'm so glad that you guys enjoy them. So I like making them. And so we're going to keep doing that. Let's go ahead and watch Vegito's active skill. I assume that's going to kill Lags, and then we'll just move into the Golden Cooler fights. So, yeah, these fights aren't very hard, but you know, again, I just wanted to get them recorded on the channel. So hopefully you guys didn't have any trouble with these fights. If you did, let me know. If you didn't, let me know what teams you used to beat them. But yeah, let's go ahead. We'll let Vegito kill Lags here, and then we will move on to Golden Cooler. All right, here we are. Sorry, I forgot to unmute my microphone. But yeah, here we are. We're moving on to Golden Metal Cooler here. Again, he's not really a threat at all. But you know, again, we got to get these on camera, and I just figured I'd combine these into two videos, and then into one video. I combine these two fights into one video, and then I'll do Hearts. I'll just do him as his own video. Because he has two category missions associated with it, so we'll, do the Dragon Ball Heroes run or crossover, whichever it is. I mean, it's basically the same. But we'll do that run, and then we'll do the Fuse Fighter run, and we'll just get that done in one video. But yeah, again, these fights were just, like, not hard. If I had to equate them, I'd say that they're probably easier than, like, Baby, right? Like, the Baby Red Zone stages. Like, maybe they're, like, Turles level or something, where it's, like, yeah, maybe like Turles level, Slug level. I mean, they are not hard. The fact that you can seal, what's his name? You can seal Hearts in the second fight, it just makes this an absolute joke. Now, you saw there we took a little bit of damage, but I believe this guy has like a really long cooldown on his super attack. So I feel pretty safe putting this guy in slot 1 right here. You know, we have all 6 out of 7 links activated here. The only thing we're missing is Shocking Speed. But yeah, you can see, I mean, his defense, 334k with damage reduction. We only have to survive 2 normals, hopefully. And then I do have dodge in the event that there is a super attack there. But again, I think this guy has a pretty long cooldown. At the end of this video, I think I'll go ahead and go over the stats for both of these fights just to show it in a video. But if you guys are not using Dokkan info, like, I don't know what you're doing, because Dokkan info, link in the description, right? There is so much information there to just, prepare yourself better for these fights. So, again, it's like you can just hop in there and look at the stats for these guys on your own, which I figure, you've either seen people do videos on these at this point, and they've probably covered it already. But, like, on your own, if you're ever hopping into these fights, I know people like going in blind, but if you're someone who's just, like, wants to be prepared going into these things, it's like Dokkan info has everything that you're going to need for these fights, so, take advantage of the tools that are at your disposal. But yeah, at the end of this video here, I'll go over those stats and just kind of talk about it, and maybe, like, compare it to some of the earlier Red Zone stages to get an idea, but, Hearts could have been, like, a real boss. I don't know why they needed to make it so that he could be sealed, because, like, his HP is only 41.5 million. For comparison, what is Merge Zamasu? Just, again, they're both, final bosses. I mean, he's the final boss for now, but, like, what's Fusion Zamasu? Both final bosses, the Red Zone, yeah. So, Fusion Zamasu's first phase is 50 million, and Fusion Zamasu's second phase is 70 million HP, for a total of 120 million, right? Whereas Hearts is, again, I'm kind of just going over this now, but, let's see, Hearts is 33 million in the first phase, and then 41.5 in the second phase. So he caps out, like, his total fight HP is 74,500,000, which is, like, only slightly higher than Fusion Zamasu's second phase, right? Like, it's a joke how easy they made this guy. I mean, it's like he doesn't do any damage, his attacks do, like, nothing, and then his HP is, like, combined across 2 phases, is less than 1 phase of, like, the hardest fight in the game. So it's just like, they didn't need to make him be sealed, right? They could have just kept the countdown. It's like, if you don't kill him in 2 turns, you're probably gonna die. But it's like, we have a ton of dodging characters, right? Like, we have this Janemba, who, could probably still be guarding and have, like, a 1 million defense stat. Like, he could probably tank it. Well, no, actually, he can't tank it because it's 6.4 million. Never mind, I thought it was 2.4 million, but yeah, it's 6.4 million. So yeah, unless you dodge it, there's nothing that's going to survive his super attack. But again, you can seal him. but even if you couldn't seal him, it's like we have like this guy on the team. You just put him in slot 3 and you hope, but you're going to kill him anyway, so it doesn't matter. We could watch the active skill here, but I mean, there's no need, right? Let's just throw this Vegito in slot 1. And, you know, if there's a super attack in slot 1, hopefully he counters it. If not, I mean, we'll be fine, like, post-super attack, so it doesn't matter. Anyway, let's grab those. We're going to super attack with Janemba. Now, notice our HP. That's probably the weakest point of this team is only 606,000 right here. I mean, that's just clearly not good enough, right? Like, it's not a number that you want to be seeing these days, is 606. That's pretty rough. But, I mean, it could be worse, you know. Some people are going to be running around with these teams at, like, 55%, 79%, stuff like that. And they're going to have, like, sub 600 HP. Like, it's going to be closer to maybe, like, 550 or something. And for those people, it's, you know, they're really going to feel the effects of the HP on this team. Luckily, it's guaranteed featured, and it's 7% featured rate. So, you know, getting some of these newer units is pretty easy. Same thing with the EZA units, but still, it's just, it's tough, right? Anytime you're going into one of these difficult fights with this much HP, even a boss like this Cooler who doesn't really hit very hard, it's like, yeah, you can tank it, but, you know, how many times can you tank it, right? You know, I could use the active skill here and then, like, do this. And I think that would be the smart play. But, you know, just for science, let's keep Vegito here in slot 1 and see what happens. Again, I could die here. You know, if I do, it's not the end of the world. We can just hop back in, and I'll just cut to this point. You know, maybe this is my own, what is it, hubris, my own pride, my own, whatever getting to me right here. It doesn't matter. The friend built theirs with dodge. That's good. And we're just gonna take this guy out right here. All right, well, there we go. Again, thank you guys for 1,000 subs. I don't know if I ever finished that point from the first video, but the point here is just, you know, I started this out to send videos to my friends. It wasn't really going to be a serious thing, and I was like, well, you know, some of these shorts are starting to get picked up by the algorithm. Why don't I just, you know, start making videos? I had an Elgato for a long time because I just decided that I was going to, like, I thought about, you know, just, like, recording gameplay and stuff and streaming. Because I used to stream a long time ago, back whenever Twitch was, like, first coming around. Okay, Pan. Any day, honey. Jeez, man. But I used to stream, like, on Twitch a long time ago. And so, you know, I was like, maybe I'll do that again. You know, there's a lot of PS5 games. And so I bought it. It just sat in its box. And I was like, well, you know, I've been playing a lot of Dokkan. Why don't I just film that and then put it on YouTube? And so here we are, you know, basically 11 months later, and things are working out for us. So let's just use the active skill and get out of this fight. Let me know what you guys thought about Lags and Golden Metal Cooler here. Again, they're not very tough. I'll just pop the active skill here, and then we'll move kind of into the discussion about Lags and Golden Metal Cooler's stats. So let me know what you guys think. If you're not interested in the breakdown of, like, their stats, you know, see you later. But again, thank you for everybody who watches these videos, who subbed, likes the videos, shares them, comments. I appreciate all of you guys. So let's watch Vegito's, you know, very good, incredible voice acting, and then let's talk about these fights a little bit here. Okay, we got Dokkan info pulled up right here. Again, link in the description somewhere just to Dokkan info, right? And then you just go here to events. You go to challenge. I set my filter to challenge, active, and then right down here, there it is. Ultimate Red Zone, Super Dragon Ball Heroes Edition. Here it is. Again, if you guys are not using Dokkan Info, you should be. It's just very good website right here. And we can scroll down and we can see the stats right here. You just click on, like, the little difficulty symbol right there, and then it'll take you to the fight. And you can see Lags here, 23 million HP, 240,000 attack stat. She only does 600,000 on her super. She does lower defense, but, I mean, come on. Like, with only this much damage, I mean, this is, like, nothing, right? Again, 28 million, 290, and 725. I mean, we're starting to hit a little bit harder here, but, you know, again, just to compare that to some of the newer red zones, you know, if I go back here, where is this one? You know, let's look at the first fight here, 17 and 18, like, probably the easiest fight in this red zone. And, you know, like that's their super attacks are just way higher, right? Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, if we go back and look at maybe Turles, where's like the movie Red Zone? Here we go. Here's the movie Red Zone, right? Let's look at Slug. Let's see if they're on par with Slug right here. So Lord Slug, yeah, 225. Yeah, so they're like on par with Slug. Like the final phase of Slug right here. This is basically what they're on par with. Is like this. So I mean, very clearly, right? Like this is, this was 7th anniversary. This is almost 2 years ago now. At this point, these fights weren't super difficult then. I mean, Slug was clapping some people up. I mean, he was kind of like a God event level boss at that point. Maybe just like slightly harder than the God event, maybe. But overall, Slug was not a super tough boss, and now here we are with Lags, right? Who is basically on par with that. It's just kind of disappointing considering Cumber last year, doing a little bit more here. Just a little bit more. Considering, Lags is supposed to be a step further in the fight, I would have expected, maybe she'd be a little bit harder than this guy, but no, it's like a huge step down from last year. So that's kind of disappointing, but it's good. At the very least, people are getting free stones from these essentially. I mean, what is it, like 45 stones or something that you get from this if you do all the missions and clear all the stages? So that's very nice. We like to see that. So then we have Golden Metal Cooler here. Let's see what he looks like. So yeah, a little bit higher on the HP, but again, his damage is just not very high. Again, we're kind of around that same level with Slug. So he caps out at 980 on his super attack right here. Who does that like equate to? Maybe like what's Baby doing right here? Yeah, so he's basically the same level as Baby, like right here, but without the AoEs. So, again, Baby was pretty tough. Whenever Baby came out, that was kind of like the sign of like, oh crap, maybe this red zone thing is going to be, maybe this is going to be a real fight. I remember I was sitting in like the Sonic parking lot. I just ordered like some cheese tots and like mozzarella sticks or something, because I mean, listen, that's the kind of world we live in here. I was just sitting there, right? Like, oh man, like, what is it? I was on my JP account too. These units had just come out. If you guys don't know, I do have a JP account. I've done a couple videos on there on the channel. But I was sitting there trying to like beat Baby just in that parking lot. I think I had the Super Saiyan 4 unit at like 69%. And we were struggling, man. This was before, like, the LR Super Saiyan 4 EZAs, like, all that stuff. And I was sitting there just skinning my teeth trying to get through these fights. And I remember I was able to do it for the first time. You pop that big bang Kamehameha, you get the KO. Like, it feels so good. That was Baby. But that was 2 years ago. That's not today. Today, we walk into Lags, Lags and Metal Cooler, and we just say, hello. How are you today? How would you like me to defeat you? And whenever they're giving us units like Vegito, who has 60% damage reduction and almost a million defense post super attack, I mean, a guy like this can't do anything. But again, it's nice that they're just giving us some free fights for people to get stones, but it's much more interesting whenever I can do like a series of 50 showcases against these guys, right? Like whenever Omega eventually drops on global, I mean, I'm going to be able to churn out, if I have time, like 100 showcases, right? Like, we're just gonna be like, all right, every unit that's released in the past year, we got to take them into Omega now, just like everybody else. So, meanwhile, here it's like, oh, well, I'd like to do that, but I mean, do we really need to see how well Kale does against this guy? Like, even Kale's gonna be pretty good here against Cooler. So, anyway, let me know what you guys think about Lags and Golden Metal Cooler. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Again, I am just condensing these two into one because these fights aren't very difficult. But this video ended up being a little bit longer than I expected. I thought we were going to be closer to maybe like the 15-minute mark. But, we went an extra 4 minutes here. It doesn't really matter. Yeah, you guys let me know what you think. Let me know if you had any trouble with these missions. Again, we're going to do these last two right here. We're going to do these as one video, so that's going to be coming up next, so be on the lookout for that. Thank you guys again so much for watching. I really, really appreciate it. Thank you for 1,000 subscribers, and I will catch you guys next time.